All right, Eric, go spring training finally here, and you guys proved a lot of people wrong and probably really brought a lot of people to surprise at how well you played last year at 90 wins. This year, though, a lot of people are expecting you guys to contend for a playoff spot, and I know you guys are too. What are you guys looking at going into this season in your preparation and trying to build on a postseason?
Well, not to place any extra pressure on ourselves, but the expectations are high. You know, when you have a young club, a lot of which returned, and feel good about the additions we've made, and off of 90 wins, it's natural to think about greater things ahead. So at the same time, winning 90 games is hard. It takes a lot of things to go right on top of having really good talent that came together last year. So we're just trying to come in here to camp, have a healthy camp, make sure guys are physically where they need to be, and then just let this thing roll.
When you look back at last season, a lot of things did go right for you guys, and one of the things that a lot of people were surprised was with the invention of the opener and how well that worked for you guys last year. And this year, you're going to be expanding that to a 4th and 5th spot. Why does this opener work so well for your club?
Well, we started last year with the variations before that kind of form solidified in late May, you know, in terms of how we were configuring our staff. At the end of the day, we have a lot of young players. We're trying to put them in the best position to succeed. So, you know, the chance to ask a little less of a starter when they're first transition in big leagues is something we thought made a lot of sense and was worth trying. Our guys did a wonderful job with it, and you know, guys like Stanek, you know, that the 7th inning is one thing, but when you're trying to build confidence, trying to help guys establish themselves as major league players, you know, pitch of the 1st inning where you still have 24 outs behind you, it's a different stress point, you know, in the game. So things that we thought could help us win games and also put our players in a better position to succeed, both for this year and to help believe that they belong in the big leagues. So our goal in this is just to continue to make sure we're putting our players in the best position to succeed and win games, and they've been great about following suit.
And I think it makes your job easier and Kevin Cash's job easier too when you have players that are flexible and they want to contribute in any way possible for the betterment of the team. And if that means going in the pen for a few innings or rotating around.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can't say enough. You know, our staff leads the way, but our players, for the buy-in that they have and the willingness to really put the team, you know, by and large ahead of themselves when they need to. And a lot of this isn't about putting the team ahead of themselves. I think individually this is all things that we believe is best for them as well, but it does certainly help to have that mentality.
Going back on that, the P word, the postseason, the playoffs, I know it's only just a few days in camp, but do you feel a sense of maybe not necessarily the pressure, but just like an edge with these guys? And just talking to some of them already, like they want to continue to prove the doubters wrong. You said in your opening statement in the State of the Rays that you want to prove that this season or last season was not a fluke. Do you feel like the guys are buying into that and feel that same sentiment?
Yeah, it's you know, a lot of these players came up through our system. Those that did, they won a lot. You know, they're used to that. They've established that belief and have played, you know, that way. So to have that, to have the validation last year, especially the last couple months, you know, with where our record was and some of the teams we were beating. You know, we weren't just beating the teams at the bottom of the division. We were beating teams that were leading their division. So that belief is there, and to come into camp, you better feel that way, you know, and it's early, it's still February, there's a lot of work to go, and it's something that has to be earned, but, you know, to see them with the belief, the energy, and, you know, what's going on here, it's fun, it's enjoyable.
You know, it's crazy to think about how the two Februaries, February 2018 and February 2019, we're in two different types of mentalities. Last year, we were talking about all the transactions you were making with players that are leaving, Corey Dickerson, Steven Souza, and the backlash. And you guys took it, and you guys knew what you're doing, and it paid off for you.
Yeah, they don't all work out, but you know, we made those moves as hard as they were to make at the time, for the belief that there were going to be better days ahead. It just would take us a little while to experience them, and thankfully, again, our staff, our players, what they did last year, can't say enough, you know, positive things about what they accomplished. But yeah, it certainly changed the tone, the explanations, the questions being asked are different now than they were a year ago at this time, and that's part of it. But there's still no guarantee that this year plays out any better than last year, and we got to earn it.
We look at some of the new guys you brought in this year, like a Mike Zunino, Avi Garcia, Yandy Diaz, Charlie Morton. Those are 4 solid additions. And what are you expecting from those guys, and what drew you to acquire all 4?
Well, just to be themselves, you know. We try not to put any additional pressure on anybody. You know, they have a track record, they have a level of performance, they have, you know, a history of how they behave as a teammate, and we want them to come in here and just to be themselves. And by and large, our hope is that if they do that, we're going to get the best out of them, and it's what we're looking for to, strengthen our team in total. So, Z behind the plate, this is a guy that, is as good of a field general, as we've seen. We're excited about that. Charlie, his track record the last couple of years especially speaks for itself. And, Yandy Diaz, Avisail Garcia, et cetera. These are all guys that, we feel are primed for, a real opportunity. Obviously it's a bounce back situation. Andy, and you got guys that they had in Cleveland. It's a little harder to crack that group, and to have them come in here, fresh start, fresh environment, and really being counted on to be a guy as opposed to having to compete to break through for a spot, that can change a lot, and hopefully that allows him to flourish with us.
I mean, with Andy, you're right. He didn't get that opportunity in Cleveland because of the log jam and the position players like that. But when you look at his skill set, the guy is pretty versatile, and he's in great shape. Where do you see his position being long-term with this club? Is it first base, outfield, third base?
I think there's a lot with him and with several of our other guys where we feel that these are legitimate, high-end major league players, but they also have positional versatility. So it helps as we learn more about them, as we learn more about their teammates. There's a lot of different ways this can come together. So, short-term, I think we'll probably get the longest look at Andy, playing on each corner on the infield, first base, third base, see what that looks like and how it fits with the rest of our group. And we're confident he can play both of those well.
I know your job is there's never a dull moment. You always have to know what's going on out there when it comes to the free agent wire, when it comes to possible trades. But are you comfortable with this team currently as we are here in February? Do you anticipate making any other moves in camp like you have in the past?
I think, yeah, we are. We feel good about the group, and part of what allowed us to get to where we are today versus a year ago is that we did some things to open up opportunity, for players that hadn't previously had it. Be it guys that were coming up through our system, be it somebody like Joey Wendell that had amassed 15+ plate appearances in AAA in another organization. That we want to give them space, and on paper, when you do those things, you're not necessarily certain how they'll turn out. But thankfully, we were rewarded for it, and that's something that's not lost on us. We got a lot of young talent that's still coming up through our system that we want to make sure they still have opportunity. And that's not to say we're not looking to win, this year. We believe in the guys we have, and we want to make sure they have the space to make their impact first and foremost. But when it comes to additions, Heim said it yesterday that anything we do in camp compared to a year ago this year, I think largely will be dictated by things we think have a chance to help increase our chances to make the postseason. But that being said, we really like the group we have, and we'd be totally fine if this is where we end up going in to play Houston.
And not to mention, you guys have a loaded farm system. You loaded it up with some of the trades that you made last year, and then just the overall development being ranked as one of the best, and some publications had you as the best. That's got to make you as a GM and as someone that's evaluating talent and put a lot of work into this, got to make you proud, because you know that the future, not just the immediate future, but the long-term future of this ball club is really bright.
Yeah, it does, and my role in that's a small part. We've got a lot of really good people in their various departments that that oversee the day-to-day and have done a tremendous job. And you look at our major league team and anticipated major league team, it's a lot of trades, and that's where a lot of that's been. But if you look at some of the prospect rankings, like the Baseball America list, there were 9 guys on that list, and they were all drafts or international signings, not a single trade on that list. So when you're clicking, your pro scouting group and your pro transactions are clicking, and they're helping you contribute to winning the big league game, and then you got international signs, you got drafts coming that are held in that type of regard. That's really where we want to be and where we need to be to have success, and can't say enough good about the people we have, and feel really good about our work this winter.
Well, you guys have great expectations going into the season, playoff aspirations. You've built a great club around here, and we're really looking forward to seeing what you guys can put together, and hope we'll be talking October baseball.
Yeah, I hope so. That's our goal. So we'll see how it goes, and it should be a lot of fun.
Erik, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.